Hey everyone, this is Kristen from KristenCoaching.com. Thank you again for joining me for my video today. Subscribe to my YouTube page if you haven't already, and you'll get pop-ups every time I create a new video. So today we're going to be talking about how to stop being needy in a relationship. And this is a big problem for a lot of people. It can be really related to both men and women. But I'm going to be talking, more specifically to women these days. Just because I can relate very well, and I think a lot of women really do struggle with this type of a topic. So really being needy is not a trait that we want to consider ourselves in that category. It can sometimes be a little bit embarrassing if somebody labels us as a needy person. It's not really an attribute that we are super happy about that we have, right? But why is it so rampant in relationships? And why do men consider women really needy at times? It's just not something that I really want a label for you, because when we are needy and we actually are just trying to get that attention from that other person and kind of sucking that attention from the person that we're dating or our other half, it can just really look poor upon ourselves and really not give us that, level of, I think, poise that we want as women. And really, sometimes we can really lose respect for ourselves when we're kind of resorting to lower ways to be able to kind of hold on to our relationship and get that attention that we want. So I want to talk about ways how we can stop being needy, right? But before we do that, I want to say, I think, it comes from a good place. I think, we are needy, but we're trying to ultimately try to get our relationship to this place of maybe where we want it, right? Maybe we have an expectation of our relationship. So we're doing everything in our power to make sure that the relationship that we're in is meeting our expectation. Or maybe we're trying to get our relationship maybe back to how it was before, because that was a place that was feeling really, really good and we were feeling really confident about ourselves. But sometimes energies shift and things change, and we can get really insecure about that. So, we try to do everything we can to have control and have that power to shift that energy and make it to that place that we need it to be. But it can come off as too needy and sometimes too pushy. So I really want to talk about some steps of how you guys can avoid being needy, but still get your needs met. Okay? So the first thing you can do is, I think in any type of a relationship, if things aren't going how you need them to go, instead of clinging on and, not giving anybody, space for themselves, that's not a good idea. You need to give people individual time and space for who they are. You're an individual, so you need your own personal space, and so does your other half. So I'm not even necessarily talking about, living together or that type of thing. Although I do think personal space is important for people who live together. But I'm also talking about people who are just kind of starting relationships or are in a little bit of a relationship, but it's not maybe too serious yet. You got to have that individuality, and you got to create that space and that, physical distance sometimes, and also sometimes a little bit of an emotional distance, just to make sure that you respect that other person's independence and you have your independence as well. And that's going to really help avoid, kind of that idea of, feeling needy at times, because you can rely on yourself. Also, I think it's important to just be mature when it comes to relationships, okay? Don't resort to, kind of immature kid ways of handling things. You're an adult and you have a wonderful mind, and you're able to, figure out what your needs are, and being able to communicate that in a healthy manner, and don't resort into little childish ways to, kind of dig your claws in and make sure things happen, or be manipulative about it, okay? You can be upfront and you can be open, but be mature about it, and that's really important. I think also, in order to avoid some neediness, and like I said before in number one, about giving space, you have to have your own life. You have to have your own things that you do on your own, hobbies, interests, some sports activities, whatever you want to do, right? But you need to have your own life, because sometimes if we are attaching our lives onto the people that we're dating, that can feel really energetically clingy, to the other person. And so we have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and we're doing things on our own, separate from the person that we're dating and separate from our a relationship, and that's really important. And then also, you really want to analyze your relationship. If you're feeling like you're being too needy, I want you to check your own personal anxieties. We can't rely on other people who we're dating or who we're in a relationship with. We can't rely on that person to bring our anxiety down. That's not fair to them, and it's something that you need to work on yourself. So if you're having anxiety or if you're having some depression, I want you to take care of that on your own, separate from needing your other half or your person who you're dating to help you out with that or make you feel better. Okay, so I really suggest that you maybe seek some personal therapy or counseling when it comes to that, because again, anxiety can really feel intense and it's a hard thing to experience, and I think we can get really clingy and needy when we're feeling anxious, but again, it's not a healthy situation when we're relying on your other person who you're dating to bring down that anxiety, because it might bring it down for a little bit, but eventually it comes back up again, and you're really not getting to the core and the root of why you're feeling anxious in the first place. So I want you to analyze yourself and analyze your relationship if you are feeling anxious about certain things that's making you feel a little too needy. And then the last thing is just overall, just be aware of who you are. And I say this to anybody, be aware of yourself. Ask questions about why are you doing these actions? What's making you feel that you want to talk to your other half all the time, or know what they're doing, or just feel really, ingrained in that person. Just ask yourself, what's going on with me? How am I feeling? Is this coming from a good place, a healthy place, or am I struggling with some things on my own, and it's manifesting in this type of behavior that really isn't something that I enjoy doing, and I enjoy acting this way? So really just get that sense of awareness, and I think that's really going to help you out, okay? I want you guys to conduct yourself in a way that feels good for you and feels healthy for you, and I think, again, coming across as needy to your other person can really push that person away and ultimately result in possibly, a breakup or a relationship devastation, which obviously is not what you want. So there's ways to go about getting what you need without being too clingy to the other person. Hopefully those tips were helpful for you. Feel free to comment or ask me any questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I'll see you guys next time for my next video. And thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.